While we often admire the achievements of the ancient world, there's another darker side, the brutal ways humans punished and executed each other. Today, we'll explore some of the most terrifying methods of torture and execution ever practiced in antiquity. Warning: this isn't for the faint of heart. Crucifixion, the agony of the cross. Crucifixion wasn't just about death, it was about slow suffering. First used by the Assyrians and Babylonians, it later spread to Persia, Greece, and Rome, where it became infamous. Victims were tied or nailed to a wooden cross. Nails were driven through the wrists, striking the median nerve, causing searing pain and locking the hands into a claw-like grip. As the body weakened, the shoulders dislocated, the chest struggled to expand, and the victim slowly suffocated over hours, sometimes even days. It wasn't only an execution, it was a public message: absolute humiliation and terror. Rat torture. Rats have been humanity's companions for millennia, and also its instruments of terror. In one of the cruelest methods, a live rat was trapped in a cage pressed against a victim's abdomen. The cage was then heated from the outside, forcing the desperate animal to escape the only way it could, by burrowing through human flesh. The thought of claws and teeth tearing through your body, inch by inch, added psychological torment on top of unbearable physical pain. This wasn't just execution, it was interrogation, meant to break both body and mind. The rack. The rack is one of history's most infamous torture devices. The victim was strapped onto a wooden frame, wrists and ankles tied to ropes wound around axles. With each turn of the wheel, the ropes tightened, stretching the body beyond its limits. Muscles tore, tendons snapped, joints dislocated, and bones splintered. The ribcage compressed the lungs, making every breath harder. For some, spikes were placed beneath the body so that as it stretched, their flesh was ripped apart. The wheel, shattered bone by bone. Also known as the Catherine wheel, this was less an execution than a brutal display of destruction. The victim was tied to a large wooden wheel, spread out like a grotesque figure. The executioner then used an iron bar to smash bones, starting from the legs and working upward. Each strike left shattered limbs, while the victim was still conscious. When the torture was complete, the mangled body was woven through the spokes of the wheel and left on display, sometimes for days, as a warning to others. Impalement. Death on a stake. Perhaps one of the most gruesome methods was impalement. A sharpened stake was forced into the victim's body, often greased to prolong the process. In the longitudinal method, the stake was inserted through the lower body, then slowly driven upward, carefully avoiding major organs. It could take days before the victim finally succumbed. In transversal impalement, the stake pierced through the torso from front to back. Other variations included hooks and spikes, where victims were literally hung until death. It was not only punishment, but also theater, designed to terrify whole populations into obedience. Molten gold. Greed and cruelty often walked hand in hand. In this method, molten gold, heated until it was liquid fire, was poured down a victim's throat. The flesh inside the mouth and throat instantly burned away. The metal scorched the stomach and lungs from the inside. Death was quick but agonizing, leaving behind a horrifying symbol of wealth turned into a weapon. Though rare, it was reportedly used by the Romans, the Spanish Inquisition, and in stories of conquest in the Americas. Flaying. Few methods strike more fear than flaying. The victim was stripped, tied, and then carefully skinned with blades, often beginning at the head, where nerves are most sensitive. The process could last for hours, sometimes days, as layers of skin were peeled away while the victim remained conscious. Death came from shock, blood loss, or infection. In some cases, the removed skin was displayed as a warning. The body itself became a grotesque canvas for power and domination. The Roman candle. At the top of our list stands the infamous Roman candle, a cruel spectacle ordered by Emperor Nero during his reign. His hatred of early Christians pushed him to devise punishments that went far beyond simple execution. Prisoners were bound tightly to wooden stakes, their bodies soaked in oil or pitch, and then set ablaze, forced to burn alive, transforming into horrifying human torches. These blazing victims illuminated the night during grand feasts and gatherings, serving as living lanterns for the Roman elite. This wasn't merely about death. It was theater of suffering. The blazing bodies symbolized domination and control, a grotesque display designed to instill both fear and obedience, while also feeding the emperor's appetite for twisted entertainment. From crucifixion to fire, from the rack to impalement, these methods reveal a chilling truth. Humans have long been capable of cruelty beyond imagination. They remind us that history isn't only about art, science, and progress, but also about the darker instincts of fear and control.